with Manila 6th District Representative Benny Abante. Good morning. Welcome to Morning Matters.
Good morning, Gretchen. Morning.
Okay. Unang-una, kakamustahin ko lang po kayo, no? Kasi kayo po ay tumakbo nitong eleksyon.
Yes.
Pero hindi po pinala. What do you think happened there?
Well, actually, nagtaka kami. Even my own leaders were very much surprised. Kasi the last survey, I was 40% ang lamang ko sa kalaban ko. So,
do you think your hearings, you took a hit from all of the hearings conducted? Because nasa ano po kayo, nasa forefront po kayo nitong Quadcom, nitong Tri-Comm.
Most probably. We're still studying it. Pero meron namang ibang nangyari. So, palagay ko, makakabalik ako.
Makakabalik kayo. Oo, kasi hindi lang po kayo, pati si Dan Fernandez din.
Oo. The thing is, gusto ko nang pahinga eh. The Quadcom hearing has been very stressful for us, actually.
Why?
Well, because, syempre, may mga kalaban ka, binabash ka. At one time, I had 6,000 bashers, no? Nabawasan na ng...
Paano nyo nabilang yung 6,000?
Kasi meron kaming we have 100 of our young people are actually deleting all of those. And they were counting it.
The comments on your Facebook page?
Yes.
Okay, and what...
Hindi ko nga binabasa eh. I'm not reading it.
And,
so I'm not actually affected by it because, I refuse to read those.
And of course, this led you to this investigation into fake news, the hearings on disinformation. After so many months, ano po yung findings po ng Tri-Committee?
Well, that must be regulated. Sa amin, there ought to be some state regulations passed on it. Aside from having a self-regulatory powers that non-government organizations have, kinakailangan din naman na the government must have its own regulatory powers on it. Hindi pwedeng maging absolute ang kapangyarihan ng... because the thing is, some trolls and some bloggers are using the privilege of the media, of the legitimate media. So, hindi naman, the legitimate media will not in any way try to be like those people. Nagmumura, things like this.
And speaking of that, kayo na po nagbanggit, no? Yung pagmumura, hindi po ba freedom of speech din yon? Kung ini-express nyo yung sarili nyo, galit kayo, kung minsan nasaktan kayo, napamumura kayo, hindi ba parte po yun ng ating freedom of expression? At the same time, kumbaga if minura ko kayo, theoretically, kung ano po yung consequence nun, it's mine to bear. Because I used my freedom of expression, kung magalit po kayo sa akin. But to put that under the classification of disinformation and fake news and what should be regulated, isn't that also a little bit too much?
Pero that's not being used in the primetime media. Hindi ginagamit yan ng professional journalist, yung pagmumura. Wala pa ako narinig nung araw na nagmura ang professional journalist, kahit sino pa ang nagkamali. Look, freedom of expression, for example, in a private, personal moment na pinag-uusapan yan, yes, oo, but not in the media.
But we are talking about journalism,
yes,
right? But
yes.
How about the vloggers? For example, meron pong, I think, nagmura po sa inyo, minura po kayo, a certain Joey Cruz.
Yes.
Parang sinabi po niya, Congressman Abante, paswelduhan ka ng taxpayer GAGO.
That's right.
Oo. Pero hindi siya journalist, vlogger po siya. At sa kanyang channel niya ginawa yun.
But why is it that they were telling people that they're journalists? Sinasabi nila, journalists sila. They're saying, journalist sila. I'm a journalist. In fact, nakausap po yung iba mga vloggers.
Yung iba po, pero hindi lahat. Paano naman po? How do you make the distinction?
Nilahat na nila. The thing is this, for example, like, ginagawa kong GAGO. Or number one, tama ba yun? Anong ebidensya niya? Ako GAGO. Di ba? Tama ba yun? I mean, that's even fake information. Tama ba na tawagin niya akong GAGO? O GAGO ba ako? O, bakit niya tinawag akong GAGO?
Hindi po ba dapat din kapag kayo ay public official, may kapal ng mukha din kayo to tolerate
Totoo yun.
all of the criticism hurled against you because it is public office?
And they are all tolerated, Gretchen. The thing is this is an investigation. I mean, we're not trying to be onion skin when it comes to that. Ibig sabihin lamang, sa investigasyon na ito, ay titinan na maigi. O talaga ba ito ay freedom of expression ba ito? You mean you use that language and that's freedom of expression? Ibig sabihin pwede ka nang magsabi na kung ano-ano, kahit na hindi tama, kahit na mali, for example, kahit nakakasakit ng damdamin. That's unjust vexation, for
Pero
example.
paano po kung galit po talaga sila sa inyo at yun ang totoo para sa kanila?
Okay. Ang sabi ko ganito, kilala niyo ba ako? Alam niyo ba ginagawa ko? Oo, I do not even know you. You do not even know what I'm trying to do. You see? I mean, why would you make a blanket statement na lahat na? Di ba? I mean, okay. Bagitin mo yung pangalan. O, GAGO ako. Bakit mo sinabi yun? Yun ang gusto kong malaman. Gusto kong malaman, ba't mo sinabi yun? Anong ebidensya mo na totoo yung GAGO?
Para sa kanya po, yun ang nararamdaman niya. Because there are facts and there are feelings.
Yun ang sinasabi
and there
nilang
are expressions,
diba?
opinion. Oo, para po sa kanya.
Yes.
And given that kayo po ay nahahalo-halo nyo nga po, isn't there a danger of classifying opinion as false information? And if you, for example, that is your opinion, galit po kayo sa mga minumura po kayo online, and kung meron po kayong kaaway sa politika, this law that you are thinking of legislating against disinformation could be used against you by the next administration.
In fact, during the campaign, even the COMELEC, meron silang mga dinisqualify na nagsasabi ng mga ganun mga salita. Alright. Ibig sabihin, it is not welcome in a civilized, cultured society. And we are that. We're not what kind of a society are we?
No, I think you're referring to
pwede mo na
attorney.
sabihin lahat yung mga bagay.
Were you referring to Attorney Ayan Sia of Pasig? Siya po ay may mga vulgar statements against the vulnerable and women. I think that's very
and that's
particular.
too much.
Oo,
That's
particular
too
po yun
much.
kasi
Oo.
medyo na-undermine naman po niya, na-insulto niya sila. But
Meron pa yatang iba.
Hindi po ba parang pwede naman na kayo na lang ang mag-file ng unjust vexation or cybercrime use that, invoke the cybercrime law against yung mga nagmura po sa inyo, imbes na creating one blanket legislation to regulate what is posted online.
Binag-aaralan namin yan, Gretchen. I mean, we have laws, for example, cybercrime, libel, slander, unjust vexation. Yung mga batas na yan, for example, anong ibig sabihin ito? Ibig sabihin that we would like to promote decency in the media. Okay lang yan sa mga kanto ng mga ganyan, mga inuman na ganyan, talaga nangyayari yan. You know that? And very exclusive yan, but not in the media. General General yan Now, wala ba kami karapatan sa magot yan? Are we onion skin when we answer those things? No, we're not. We're just trying to say, tama ba ito? Ba't mo ko tinawag na gano'n?
But it is also, tama po kayo, it is also within your right to file cases against these individuals in a personal capacity. But doesn't it make it redundant to come up with another law na marami na po tayong ganitong batas na pwede nyo na pong gamitin?
Actually, ang pinag-uusapan namin dyan, most of the laws that we're filing are actually amendments to other existing laws. See? But when it comes to regulation, dapat meron talagang batas on that regulation. Ano ba ang purpose ng regulation? Ano ba ang subject ng regulation? Ano objectives ng regulation? Are we going to allow? I mean, you look at other countries, they're not allowing those things to
Which countries po?
Whether it be Germany. Germany has actually banned TikTok. Germany, the president of Germany has banned TikTok recently. Oo. Even Donald Trump will not allow those things to happen.
And
in
I
other
think he
countries.
stopped. Dapat mababa na nga po ang TikTok, pero that was because of national security concerns.
Yes, that's right. Now, the thing is,
Not because
sa
of
atin,
disinformation.
alam mo, pinagmamasdan ko rin yung ibang bansa, wala naman silang ganun eh. I mean, sa Pilipinas lang yun eh. Oh, nauso lang yan when we start investigating some people. Oo, nauso lang eh. Hindi naman uso nung araw yan eh. Gretchen eh.
I understand your concerns kasi it becomes also, there are troll farms that are employed as a strategy to pressure or harass
Ibig sabihin, binabiyara.
you. Oo, may ganun po.
May ganun muna. Yes.
How do you legislate? I mean, are you looking also into that? Meron po ba tayong investigasyon heading that way to be able to detect these troll farms?
Alam mo,
pag-usapan na po ba natin yan?
because mag-e-end na ang 19th Congress, I'm hoping that this will be continuing. Ibig sabihin, sa 20th Congress, the Tri-Comm will still be there. Although ibang tao na nandun. Iba yung, alam mo, Gretchen, iba yung Tri-Comm sa Quad-Comm, ha? Iba yung iniimbestigahan sa Quad-Comm, ha? Iba naman yung Tri-Comm.
EJK at yung
Pero
drugs.
the thing is this, because of the Quad-Comm hearings we have, nagkaroon kami ng maraming bashers, nagkaroon ng maraming trolls, may ilang mga vloggers na binabayaran ng sinamang tao. At because of that, nagkaroon ng Tri-Comm. Napag-usapan na yung meron kaming committee on public information. Merong committee on public order.
Pero
kailangan
Congressman,
pag-usapan na ito.
can you help me define what is false information?
Well, when we speak of false information or fake information, is this. Hindi totoo ito doon sa sinasabi mo sa tao. For example, me, tinawag mo akong GAGO. Ang tanong ganito, ba't mo ako tinawag na ganyan? What's your evidence? Do you know me? Oo. Do you know what I'm doing? I mean, bakit? Yan ba totoo ba yan? Because the people will look. Alam mo naman ang mga kababayan natin, no? Very simple people yan. I mean, GO pala
Pero,
si Congressman.
pero paano nga po, kung totoo yun, para doon sa taong nagsabi nun? Di ba? Paano kung para sa kanya, ganun po kayo, dahil kumare, hindi niya kayo gusto.
We have to define what GAGO means, actually.
O yun nga po, even that, we don't have a formal definition. And given that, that definition of false information.
Are we now going to accept yung mga mura sa media? For example, like, in GAGO, mura yan. Alright? Sabihin mo sa tao na loko-loko siya. Mura ba yan? O totoo yan? Kasi kung totoo yan, dapat sa mental hospital yan. Di ba? Kung mura lang yan, hindi totoo yun.
Hindi po ba subjective naman yun? I mean, kasi kunwari, ang maganda para sa isang tao, hindi maganda para sa iba.
Anything can be subjective to anyone saying it, di ba?
Kaya nga, but it doesn't mean that it's false,
does not
right?
mean that if it's said to a person like me, that I'm going to accept it, di ba? So I also have the right to answer that. Am I right?
Yes, you have the right to answer that through
Okay.
your social media. I mean, you can also post about it, refuting it under your own freedom of expression. Paano kung para sa inyo, GAGO din yun, yung tao yun?
But because, in fact, ito, tinawag ang gobyerno na TAN-GA, for example. Yan, na strike on. Tinawag TAN-GA. When I also used that word to her, nagalit siya. Ba siya magagalit? Ibig sabihin, kung ako bilang public official, tinanggap ko. Ba siya magagalit pa binalik sa kanya? So therefore, if she respects freedom of expression, if she wants me to respect that, then she should also respect mine. You see? Ganun lang yun.
But I guess the question here is not really about anger, but about committing a crime.
Yeah.
In
Yeah,
the
that's right.
legal
That's right.
sense of it. That's why we're talking about
Totoo yan,
legislating.
totoo yan.
Ano naman po ang proteksyon na maaaring makamit ng mga talagang nagbibigay ng valid na kritisismo sa gobyerno? Sabi niyo po, ito nga po yung TNGA na sinabi sa gobyerno. Paano kung valid naman po ang kritisismo? Hindi po ba maaaring maabuso rin ito at matakot na magsalita ang mga tao?
Magandang tanong yan, Gretchen. And we're looking into that also. Ibig sabihin, hindi lamang yung regulatory measures na pinag-uusapan yan, but also protective measures to protect those that are actually legitimate. Alright. So, kinakailangan din naman natin i-define. Ano ba yung legitimate? Ano ba yung illegitimate? You see that? Kaya itong sa amin lang, at akin personally, the freedom of expression is not an absolute, di ba, code. Code, di ba? Hindi absolute yan eh. I mean, kinakailangan din malaman ng tao na
pero
hindi mo pwedeng sabihin na gusto mong sabihin.
Who determines what is factual? Ito po ay natanong na rin po ito sa ibang programa, sa Storycon. Who is the arbiter of truth here?
Actually.
If you were to set up a truth commission, who will say what is false and what is factual?
The Constitution make a general rule. It is Congress that actually put substance to what the Constitution says. Diba? Ganun yun eh. I mean, kami yung nagbibigay ang Congress na nagbibigay ng batas ayon sa Constitution. Kundi ayon yan, di-dismiss ng Supreme Court yan. Diba? So, ibig sabihin, itong body of general rules na ito, actually, hindi ito yung nagbibigay ng crime eh. Nagbibigay ng crime yung ginagawa ng Kongreso. That's the reason why merong libel, merong slander.
Totoo po. Pero sino po ang naiisip ninyong maaaring maging parte nung yun nga, yung magde-determine what is false and what is factual?
It's still Congress.
It's Congress. Lawmakers will determine if something is false.
But you've got to realize that lawmakers, for example, like the Senate has 24. Lawmakers,
but
House
aren't
has
you
about
also
300.
beholden to political interests? For example, nung panahon ni Duterte, para sa kanila, hindi totoo ang EJK. Pero para sa administrasyong Marcos, totoo ang EJK.
Say for example,
ano po yun?
Say for example, Gretchen, nag-file ako out of my own personal interest. But you've got to remember there are 300 congressmen. All right.
Who are beholden to political interests.
And that will be decided upon by the majority. So hindi lang naman ako eh. Oo. Maaring i-put down ako ng ibang mga congressmen on that because siyempre representative kami ng tao. All right. And marami naman mga congressmen that they're not making laws out of their own personal interest. You see. So ibig sabihin kahit na Congress yan, binigyan ng mandato ng konstitusyon yan, ng Senado yan. Still, naniniwala tayo. And the people should realize na Congress will do its best to regulate and to protect.
Pero yun nga po, kagaya ng pag-usapan natin nung simula pa lang, ay siguro marami kayong naging kaaway dahil dito sa investigasyon. Paano po kung gamitin po ito, no? Laban sa mga hindi natitipuhan ng administrasyon o kaya ng mga malalakas na forces o impluensya dito po sa usapang politika?
Siguro.
Nakikita po natin sa kahit yung impeachment nga po ay hindi pa nasisimulan.
Siguro kinakailangan na lang mag-ingat tayo sa sabihin natin. Siguro kinakailangan na lang na, okay, am I civilized? Am I cultured? Ito ba yun na pag-aralan ko sa magulang ko? Mga ganung bagay ba? Oo. Kaya tinanong ko rin yan eh. Ano bang upbringing mo? I mean, tinuruan ka ba ng magulang mo na magsalita ng ganito? Why do you have the freedom to say it now? When alam mo that these are certain disciplines, even in the home, that you're not allowed to do it. Ako, Gretchen, ang magulang ko niya nagmumura. Hindi ko pa narinig ang magulang ko nagmura. So, hindi kami sanay sa gumumura. For example, like PI. Is that an expression? Is PI an expression? Are we going to accept that? No. Yung PI, minumura mo yung nanay mo. You're accusing your own mother of things na... I mean, Is that an expression?
Kayo
Are
po
we
ba ay
going to accept that?
nag-file ng kaso dito sa nagmura sa inyo?
Hindi na. I mean, because, look, pag pagpahit ka ng kaso, pagbabayad ka ng abogado, ano ka pa ng kono, masyadong maraming
But the
intriga.
law enables you and empowers you to do that.
Iniintindi ko na lang.
Oo. Oo.
Hindi ko
Hindi
na
ba
lang.
pwedeng gano'n na lang din?
Maaaring may dahilan sila.
Parang gusto nyo po yung tinawag nyong TNJ yung follower, dapat intindihin na lang din niya yung pinanggagalingan ninyo.
Yes.
Bakit hindi na lang po magkaintindihan?
Ayun, maganda yun.
Imbis na i-legislate po
Maganda yun sa
natin
atin.
na marami pong mabubusalan yung bibig.
Oo, maganda yung
diba?
sanayin mo. That's good.
Oo.
Sa akin, ganun eh. Intindihan na lang kami. For example, like, sa akin yung bang, tinala lang natin maigi, ano ba talaga magandang sabihin? I mean, yun pwede naman yung pag-usapan, di ba?
Pero hindi niyo po ba, syempre, of course, it comes with the job. Whatever you say and do in the public sphere, and even this interview will get you bashed and criticized,
Actually,
and you cannot stop it.
Actually, Gretchen, I have been in politics since 1992. Never experienced that. Never experienced that.
Nanabash po kayo?
Na-experience ko lang yan.
Baka kasi sumisikat na po kayo, kaya ganon.
Maaaring ganon, pero...
At parte po yun. Okay, ano po ang aasahan po natin dito sa Tri-Committee? Will you submit a report? What kind of bills are you looking at?
Well,
Meron na po ba tayo na pag-usapan?
That would be tackled in the plenary. The committee report will be approved by the plenary, and then hopefully it will continue on the 20th Congress, and whatever has been filed, whether it be amending the existing laws or putting up a bill on regulatory measures and protective measures. Siyempre, hindi na pwedeng pag-usapan ngayon yan. I-refile na lang yan sa 20th Congress.
Are you also looking at somehow making the platforms accountable for what is allowed to be posted online?
Yes, of course.
Because there is individual responsibility and there is a bigger responsibility by the platforms.
Merong penalty
ano po yung
yan,
ano natin? Ano po yung mga findings po natin doon?
Well, just like libel, ako nga nung araw, libel should not anymore be a crime. Sa akin nung araw. Ngayon, nagbabago na yung iniisip ko. Dapat talaga maging crime na rin yun Ano So, pag-uusapan pa namin yan. We're not through with it yet, actually. Marami pang dapat pag-usapan yan.
So, hindi pa tapos ang
Hindi pa.
hearing? Oo.
Tinatapos lang namin because it's the 19th Congress almost over.
Hindi po ba, libel is criminal now? I mean, yun nga po yung nilalaban ng iba.
Libel is criminal, actually. Merong penalty yan
Yeah, it is a criminal offense under Philippine law.
Yes. Ako, gusto kong tanggalin
ano
yun.
po ibig sabihin? Gusto niyo tanggalin?
Gusto kong tanggalin yung penalty, yung bigiging crime ng libel.
Okay.
Gusto kong tanggalin yun.
What kind of penalties are you seeing?
Parang civil law na magbabayad ka na lang ng pero hindi ka na ikukulong. Kasi may kulong pa yan hindi ka na ikukulong.
Pero dito po sa mga platforms, ano po nakikita niyong penalty? At anong klaseng regulasyon ang dapat nilang gawin?
Well, sa akin kung talagang masyado ng down to earth, masyado ng gutter language ang ginagamit yan dapat mayroon ng penalty yan
Yun po talaga. Yun po talaga yung pinaka-kinaiinisan po ninyo.
Ako naman I'm all for decency. Bakit? Kasi marami tayong mga bata Pag narinig ng mga bata, ginagamit mo yan sa media. Gagawin nila yan Just imagine, yung the word PI. Sinasabi yan ng leaders ng bansa natin. The children are actually, wala naman palang kabastusan yun. Hindi naman pala bastos yun So, ginagamit na ng kabataan. What we are trying to do is protect our own children from saying those things later in life.
But isn't that also the responsibility of the parent
Yes.
to teach the kid
That is true.
and to handle or manage the social media use of their kid?
But you've got to remember, Gretchen, that the parents are quite limited on that. You see that they go to school, they learn that from the adults and they're saying, oh, bakit? Yung sinasabi ng adulto, bakit ganon? For example, like, sabihin ng tatay, bawal manigarilyo anak ha, pero naninigarilyo siya. Even that's the reason why people are doing it. You see, sa akin, let's protect our kids.
Yeah, but
by protecting our
sabi niyo
kids,
po,
ipagwawala natin yung mga bagay
sabi
na
niyo po,
sa
Kongreso,
media.
dapat maging mag-act as the Truth Commission dito. How do we ensure, how sure are we that the Senate and the Congress is the beacon of decency? Kung kahit nga po ang mga politiko nagmumura.
That's right. And the thing is, nagmumura sila, not in the plenary. Wala pa ako narinig sa plenary na ang politiko nagmura. I mean, have you heard the senator make a privileged speech sa pagmumura? No, you haven't. Have you heard the congressman
So si PRRD, nagmumura po.
Si PRRD. That's the reason why sinasabi ko, when the president say that, na tama yun, sabihin ng mga bata, tama po.
Paano kung panahon po niya at kung para sa kanya ay acceptable itong pagmumura?
Well, actually, even if leaders are doing that, it doesn't necessarily mean acceptable yan.
So maybe it should be in the hands of somebody else to define what is acceptable and what is not.
We are still a democratic country, Gretchen. Sa socialist country, ba yan? Iba magiging...
Which is exactly the argument of the journalists na, I mean, we have standards and we have, meron po kaming mag-regulate sa amin yung KBP, pati yung aming mga boss at mga network po namin. But also in the social media realm, kung ano po yung nilabas po ninyo, babalik din sa inyo. That is the essence of free speech. You responsible for your words. And dito naman po, of course, we are responsible for our words.
Yeah,
meron pong mekanismong ganun. Pero also, on the flip side, ayaw naman din po namin sabihin, ayaw din po namin maramdaman na natatakot kaming ilabas itong storya dahil there could be somebody who does not see it as factual or para sa kanya, hindi yun ang truth niya. Pero kung ito ang nalalaman naming katotohanan o facts at nilalabas po namin, what stops the politician from saying, ay hindi totoo yan, dapat you are in violation of this act?
It still is more of a democratic democratic decision because we're a democracy. But the thing is this, you have to admit, Gretchen, that legitimate media has not used those kind of language in the past, nor in the present. No one is...
I could not affirm that because kahit sa radyo, meron pong ilan na gumagamit ng explicit language.
Okay.
Tao din naman po kami. Oo. At meron tayong mga korte na maaaring mag-decide
That's
po
right.
yan.
That's
Diba?
right. Totoo yun.
So, pwede rin doon pag-usapan na if you have existing laws.
Yes.
Alright, good luck po with the rest of your term. Ilang araw na lang.
Hanggang
kung
June
aasahan
30
po sa
na
inyo.
lang.
Oo.
Yes,
Sige po. Maraming salamat
you,
para sa
Gretchen.
inyong
Thank you
oras
for
sa
the
pagpapaliwanag. We have Congressman Benny Abante joining us on Morning Matters today.